Hi, I'm Bill Eburn, bringing you an introduction to the Polaroid 440 automatic shutter. This shows the early home of Polaroid Corporation in Cambridge, Massachusetts. In this historic building, on October 9, 1876, the world's first long-distance call was received by Thomas Watson from Alexander Bell, who was in his Boston laboratory 2 miles away. In 1959, I was working here as a product design engineer. One of the more interesting programs was the design of the world's first automatic exposure device, the 440 shutter attachment for existing Polaroid cameras. I was awarded many patents on Polaroid camera products, including this one on the 440 shutter. As you will see in this animation, the 440 was attached by the picture taker to an existing Polaroid camera, where it took over the shutter function from the camera. Dr. Edwin Land, inventor of the Polaroid photo process, knew of my interest in amateur movie making and asked if I would be interested in producing a film about the 440 for the upcoming stockholders meeting. This is the film that you are about to see. A typical Sunday afternoon at Grandfather's house. These are the kind of scenes every mother wants to record. And of course, there's no finer way than with her Polaroid Land camera. But children are always moving from sunlight to shadow, close up and far away. An almost hopeless job for poor Mom, with only a few minutes stolen from her household chores to record these never-to-be-repeated moments. The children are growing fast, and Dad never seems to be able to find the time to snap those priceless record shots. The questions of what exposure to use, at what distance to set the camera, and how to follow the lightning-fast action of the children too often have prompted Mom to forget the whole idea. But not now. This mother has gone modern. The age of automation is here. No more worries about exposure, no more worries about focus. By simply attaching her Polaroid Land automatic exposure accessory to her present Land camera, she is freed of all her former picture-taking problems. Now all she has to do is press the button. Wait 1 minute, and remove a perfect, action-stopping picture. Notice how the motion of the baton has been stopped. Here's an exposure in deep shade. A tough one, even for an experienced photographer. Back in the sun again. Normally a time-consuming change of exposure for Mom, and often a lost picture, but not with the 440 on the job. Notice particularly how sharp Grandfather is, even in the background. To illustrate the extreme depth of field available with the 440, we took the same shot with a standard Land camera and 42 film. The result is shown here. Now Grandfather is hardly recognizable. How would you expose this scene? One subject in the sun and one in the shade. Certainly a difficult exposure choice, but the 440 handles it beautifully. Now let's take a closer look at just what happens inside this miracle of modern science when an exposure is made. Through the use of high-speed motion pictures actually taken during the design stages of the shutter by the product engineers, we are permitted to view the action in extreme slow motion. Here, the shutter is set for a slow-speed exposure under poor light conditions. Notice the position of the air control vane in the upper right corner. Its small opening has been set by light falling on the photocell in the front cover of the 440. This allows air to seep slowly into the rubber bellows at the left and causes the shutter blade to pass slowly across the photographic aperture, thus exposing the film for about 1/10 of a second. Notice how slowly the blade passes. Compare this now with the action of the shutter under strong sunlight. Notice that the air control vane now rests in such a position that the opening will allow air to pass freely into the rubber bellows, and an extremely fast excursion of the shutter blade takes place. In this case, the unbelievable speed of 1/1000th of a second has been obtained, rapid enough to freeze even the fastest subject motion. And so, for the first time, due to this ingenious mechanism, our housewife is freed from the previously accepted chores of picture taking and can direct her attention toward getting more appealing and better pictures in a minute.